Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another video. Today we will be recapping and my reactions to each game of week 2 of the NFL season. So let's begin. We start with the Thursday night game between the Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers. Now, Jaden Daniels did not play all too well this game. In fact, just the Commanders didn't. I think his Commanders team is going to be in a sophomore slump compared to last season. I think the Packers are in contention for the NFC title this year. And and I'm a Bears fan, so I'm not happy about it, but they truthfully are. Jordan Love doing pretty good. The rushing game did pretty good. I think this game just shows that the Packers are in contention to be one of the best in the NFC, while the Commanders are maybe a little bit behind. The Packers did do pretty well against the Lions, and then we'll get to the Lions in a bit, but yeah, I think this game just shows that the Packers are in contention to be one of the best in the NFC this year. Next up, we have a game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cincinnati Bengals. This was a really close one, and it basically just went the opposite way of what I predicted. But yeah, it was going to be just about how I thought it was going to be until a late touchdown by Jake Browning. Joe Burrow is going to be out for 3 months. That's going to be rough from the Bengals. As with any injury, I would hope that they do well in recovery. But yeah, we're going to have a bit of Jake Browning for 3 months. He didn't play all too great. He did do pretty well yards and touchdowns wise, but those 3 interceptions is my worry for Jake Brown moving forward. Trevor Lawrence and himself had like a good day as well, more so the 2 interceptions as well on my end for the Jaguars side. This game was pretty close. I expected it to be close. And and then the Bengals rushing game I just did not love as well. This is 2 back-to-back games of Chase Brown not really doing much in the field, which worries me for their running game in the future, but we'll see if that ends up holding true in a bit. But overall, this was very close game. Came down to those final few plays, and we'll see what happens with both teams in the future. Next up, we have a close one between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. One that went into overtime. Russell Wilson with 450 yards. That's actually... I don't know if that says that the Giants is going to be good or the Dallas defense is going to be bad. I generally don't entirely know what that's going to say for the future, but getting the job done in today, even though they lost. And Dak Prescott, meanwhile, had 361 yards in his passing game yesterday. Well, Sunday. Washington was pretty good. I just feel like this was a little bit closer to the game than what I would have liked for the Cowboys, because the Giants did not play well against the Commanders last week. So them playing this well against the Cowboys, is that signal for trouble for the Cowboys, or is that meaning that both teams are going to be better than what we expect and than what I would initially expect? Time will tell, but yeah, it's not really looking that good for the Cowboys compared to what I thought coming into this week. And that's pretty much what I have to say with this one. Next up, we have the Bears losing 52-21 to the Lions. Our defense is just bad. The Bears' defense allowing 334 yards on 28 attempts, and even allowing Detroit's rushing game to get going. Our rushing game ended up being good this time. It's just Caleb did not do that well this game. We at least had like some sort of offense in this game, and apparently Tyson Bagent played a little bit, but we just could not stop the Lions at all. The thing is, our offense is like in the mediocre side, but we just don't have the defense to win games. So against like those tougher opponents, I don't know if we can win at all. My Lions are good, and they're proving why I had them winning the division again this year, but they may lose it to the Packers this year, but they'll be in the wild card based on this performance. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say with this one. Next up is the Los Angeles Rams against the Tennessee Titans. This one was a pretty close game up until the second half area over here, as the Rams got 23 of their 33 points in the second half. The Titans was actually winning in the first half, so I feel like I did expect it to be at least a little bit more defensive battle, maybe, but I did expect like this much defensive score. I just didn't realize it would be like a struggle first for the Rams like that. Matthew Stafford ended up doing really good this game. Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua doing a lot of the heavy work, and Kylan didn't do that well. So the rushing game did alright. It's more so Blake Corum that did the work. Cam Warren didn't play too well in this week, and the Titans' run game continues to be more on the mid side. It was my main takeaways come from how slow the start the Rams had, because if you're losing against the Titans at the first half, what other teams are you going to struggle against? I know you have the Eagles next week, so you can't struggle against them. But yeah, I feel like this just shows me that the Rams may not like win the division as much if they keep struggling in the first half like they did. The second half was great, but the first half worries me. But yeah, those are my main takeaways from this game. Next up, we have the New England Patriots winning 33-27 against the Miami Dolphins. Both offenses did pretty good this game, but I feel like the main takeaway to come with this game is the defenses not doing that well. This is the second straight game that the Dolphins has allowed 33 points. So I worry about the defense for the future. For the Patriots side, the offense is alright. I mean, this is pretty good, but at the same time, it's against the Dolphins defense that allowed Daniel Jones to have 33 points as well. So it's not a knock on Daniel Jones. He did do well in this week as well. I'll get to that one. But at the same time, how good is he going to be against those good defenses? That's my main thing, because both defenses did not really show up this game, allowing it to be more of a shootout. I expected this game to be close. I'm not going to lie, I did. But didn't realize exactly how like bad the defenses would be. I thought it was going to be more towards like the 23-20 area where it's like not super high scoring, but it's not definitely not low scoring. I thought it was going to be a little bit more towards that. 33-27 just shows me that the defenses are just not that good. That's my main takeaways, and yeah. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers beating the New Orleans Saints 26-21. I figured it was going to be at least a close game. I did not expect it for the 49ers to pull away. I did think that they were going to at least be competitive, but I thought the Saints was going to win with the predictions. But Mac Jones having a pretty good day on Sunday, with 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I figured the Saints was going to be that competitive enough to have like in the 20s this game. Actually, I will say I predicted a lower score, but I'm not shocked that the Saints got to 20 after last week. But I think this does say a little bit more for the 49ers as well, because if they could win this game without Brock Purdy, George Kittle, basically a lot of their offense, then they could end up making noise when Brock Purdy comes back. Now, it is against the Saints, who isn't that great of a team compared to a lot of the others, but I do think the 49ers has a chance to make some noise later on in the season here. But yeah, I think that would be my reactions to this game. Next up, we have a game that I'm not gonna lie, I thought Josh Allen was going to do better. It was a blowout still, but the Bills' rushing game is what it made me think that this game was going to be a good one for the Bills. Because Josh Allen, he got injured in the middle of it, so I can't blame him too much. But at the same time, I'm more shocked because I expected this amount of points for the Bills. I actually did. What I'm more shocked about is the Jets side of things. Because, like, what happened between last week and this week? The Jets last week ended up just barely losing to the Steelers after getting 30 points. 32 points to be exact, but Justin Fields just did not play well. He got injured. Tyrod Taylor stepped in and still did not play well. Their rushing game, it was basically all Justin Fields. Like, any hype that I had about them last week has greatly diminished from this week. I just don't know about the Jets anymore, because I thought they would have possibly at least competed for the wild card, but now, after seeing this game, I'm just not sure about that. The Bills, this is just another game of dominance for them. This was more so what I expected in terms of how the offense played, and I think it may be a little bit more on the defense than what I anticipated compared to last week, but yeah, I just don't think the Jets are going to be that great this year after this game, and yeah. Next up, we have a game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do have to wonder what the defense is now with the Steelers, because they're almost have allowed the same amount of points as Dolphins. And it's between the Jets and the Seahawks. I feel like the Steelers are probably going to lose a bunch of games because of their defense. and they might actually have their first losing season, and because of their defense this year. Sam Darnold played well and still had 2 interceptions. Kenneth Walker actually doing really well this game. And Aaron Rodgers took a step back with 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Granted, it is against Seattle's defense, which I was just not high in Seattle's offense as much. I think their defense is good, but I wasn't sold on their offense. But I think this game is just showing that, like, the Seahawks defense is there, but it's just, I feel like it's a little bit more so that the Steelers defense is not. But yeah, the Steelers not having any defense out of the Seahawks. Because the Seahawks also had a defensive touchdown in this game. So the score based on offense would be a little bit more towards the 24-17 side. But yeah, I'm just not sold on the Seahawks this year. And neither am I with the Steelers. Next up, we have a blowout with the Ravens winning 41-17. Yeah, the Browns simply just did not play well this game. They only had, actually both teams did not do that great in the first half, but the Ravens really picked up in the second half. And Lamar Jackson playing pretty good, 225 yards from 29 attempts and 4 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Derrick Henry did not, and as he only got 23 yards this game. If the Browns could keep rushing the ball like they have been here, they maybe end up, compared to the week before when they only had like an average of 2.0, they can compete with a lot of teams. They just did not against the Ravens, and I think it also does come from quarterback play, because Dillon Gabriel, within his 3 attempts, did a better job than what Flacco did. So we could see Dillon Gabriel end up starting sooner rather than later. I don't think he's going to start this upcoming week, but if Dillon Gabriel can do pretty well when he does start, and Krishan Judkins continues this success, granted it was only 1 game for him so far, the Browns can actually win some games. Maybe not to the Ravens, who got 41 points in them, but they can compete. But yeah, those are my main reactions for this game. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts just barely winning against the Denver Broncos. I guess you can say I predicted in this kind of result, but I did not expect it to be like... Okay, so I don't remember exactly what I said in the predictions video, but I know at least in my head, maybe I said it like this as well in the Week 2 predictions video, that it might be the team that makes the least mistakes that wins the game. Boy, did I say that would be true. That ended up being true based on the last second field goal that the Colts had. Because, hold on, I just gotta go through the play-by-play for this. Schrader had a 60-yard field goal that was no good. Penalty on Denver for leverage, making the field goal to 45 yards, and it ended up being good. That's exactly... I guess you can say I predicted it from that. But going into how each team actually did now. Daniel Jones had 9.3 yards per average, 316 yards. And he's been playing pretty well right now, so far. And the Broncos having Bo Nix do 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Overall, this was a pretty good shootout. I do think the Colts. Here's the thing: as much as the Colts has been doing well, I have noticed that they've been kicking more field goals than they have extra points so far. Because last week we had a 3-4 split with 3 extra points, 4 field goals. This week we have 2 extra points, 5 field goals. If they can barely get to touchdowns, they might even have a little bit of trouble against even better opponents. Because as much as the Colts has been scoring so far, they have not found the end zone that much. Meanwhile, for the Broncos, close loss. They don't have the best schedule coming up, but honestly, those are my main takeaways from this game. Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals barely beating the Panthers. And yeah, this game also proves why I'm not that high on the Cardinals anymore, because Kyler Murray, he did play well in 220 yards, 25 attempts, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They allowed Bryce Young to get back into it with 328 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. So quarterbacks rating even just being like 1.5 apart. Neither rushing game really did that well, but my main takeaway is going to be like, how much is the Cardinals truly going to win this season? I'm not sold on them. The Panthers, maybe they just had a bad game against the Jaguars week 1, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to be that great throughout the season either. Yeah, there's not really much to say other than that these 2 teams are probably going to be like mid-teams throughout the season. Next up, we have the Super Bowl rematch between the Philadelphia Eagles winning 20-17 against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not going to lie, I feel like if Kansas City had their main receivers back, that they probably would have won. Because Travis Kelce, he had the most targets, then we had Tyquan Thornton and Hollywood Brown having 5 each. As well as Noah Gray having 5 each. The Eagles actually did use their top receivers this time. However, their rushing game has not been that great so far this year. Meanwhile, the Chiefs' rushing game has, it's mostly been Mahomes, been a bit better than what I thought they would be so far this year. Mahomes, in general, played better other than the interception. And this game just was a little bit more on the boring side compared to what some others would say. But yeah, I don't really have too much on this game. Next up, we have the Sunday night matchup where the Atlanta Falcons won 22-6. Yeah, when I said in my predictions that I don't think the Vikings would do like that well, I was right in this game. JJ McCarthy, while having 158 yards and 21 attempts, did throw 2 interceptions. Even if you look at fumbles, McCarthy even had 3. He lost 1 of them. He recovered 2 of them, but he still lost 1. And the Falcons was basically able to just have their way in defense. I think the Atlanta defense has the capability to contend with the Bucs for the division, while the Vikings, I think, is probably going to have more of a losing record. Now, J.J. McCarthy is going to be out, at least likely to be out this upcoming week. But, yeah, I think there is a little bit to be said with how J.J. McCarthy is essentially kind of on his rookie season, and after being injured throughout last year. But yeah, just so far with him, he's just not been playing well, and I can't really say too much else about this game. The Atlanta defense had their way with the Vikings, and the Vikings just couldn't muster up any points. Next up, we have a close game in between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Houston Texans. I did expect it to be this close, but the ending was definitely a little bit of a dramatic one, as the Texans was able to get a touchdown near the end of the game, and then the Buccaneers was able to get essentially a field goal to end it. No, they got a touchdown there. Yep, it was a touchdown. Yeah, okay. Oh, we said again. Next up, we have one of two Monday night games between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Houston Texans. I didn't expect this game to be in this close. Both teams had a touchdown near the end of the game, and with the Buccaneers just being able to pull it off. Baker Mayfield did not play too great, having 215 yards and 38 attempts. CJ Stroud did better with 207 on 24, but I worry about the completion percentage with CJ Stroud. Both run games did them pretty well. Rashad White, I feel like, was the man of the day for this team. And yeah, there's not really too much that I want to say with this game. It was a more dramatic ending, but yeah, there's not really much for me to say. Finally, we have the Chargers Raiders. I had to move to Google because ESPN just, for some reason, has it like this, so where I can't see any bit of the stats. But looking at the Chargers side, 19-27 for 242 yards, 2 touchdowns. Herbert did pretty good. And then on the rushing side of things, Najee Harris did a bit more than Marion Hampton did. Just rushing and receiving. On the Raiders side of things, Geno Smith did not have a good day. Ashton Jeanty had 11 to 43. This game was a little bit more of a just Chargers defense holding the Raiders accountable. Like the Raiders offense against a better defense, it's just bad. That's more of my main takeaway with this one, because the Chargers didn't do all too great, offensively in terms of the points, but their defense really stepped up in this game. And I think that really shows on how the Raiders might do this season as well. So those are my big 2 reactions. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.